Hello, everybody. Welcome back to ND Ice. I'm your host, David Trinka, alongside E and Iverson. Today's episode, we're going to be going over the recent sweep UND had over Miami at home, and then we'll be going into a preview of UND's upcoming series at home against St. Cloud State. We unfortunately are without Lincoln this time, as we'll go into some quick weekend recaps here. Ian, you go ahead since you've been on a short hiatus.
Yeah, sorry guys. I've been studying for some licensure for career, so I've been a little busy the past couple weeks and work has been a little stressful, so I've just been trying to enjoy my evenings, but yeah, I didn't do really anything. Um I watched Tombstone for the first time this weekend, which is a banger of a movie, for all you fans of Western movies out there. Kurt Russell, um, Val Kilmer's in it. Quite a few kind of the big guys back then. It's a good movie. Yeah, other than that, I didn't really do anything. So, just kind
Gotcha.
of around.
Sweet. Yeah, for me, I got a new computer, so if it looks weird, anybody that actually watches, if it looks different, like the way I am positioned or the camera where I'm looking, it's because I just have a new computer, trying to get it figured out where I want it to be. Usually I look down below the camera that's recording me, but now it's kind of like down lower. I'm looking up at you. So it looks a little weird when I look up at myself. But um yeah, this weekend just went to the games and uh yeah, hung out with I brought my mom to the game on Saturday. They had Zach Parise there for his one last shift. That was pretty sweet. Um So I got to see him. Mom was really excited about that. Pretty happy. That was a really cool moment, getting to see him. I don't know where you got the golden tickets to meet him, but this like 7-year-old kid had one next to me with his other 7-year-old buddy. I'm like, you guys feel like you should have to have been alive for half this guy's career, to go and meet him. But anyway, uh, glad that they got to experience that. Um, yeah, I didn't do a whole lot other than that, but so excited for this weekend. Oh, I went downtown, I guess, and that's whatever. Pretty typical, I guess. Lincoln went downtown as well for any of those who are wondering. He did get after it. So, just in case any of you guys care. Uh, let's go over our predictions for the Miami series real quick. I said a 3-2 win on Friday in overtime and a 3-1 win on Saturday. Lincoln said a 4-2 win on Friday and then a 3-1 win on Saturday. Both of us are wrong. I was the only one to have an overtime win on there, which ended up happening, but on Saturday. And then obviously no one had a one goal game on their prediction. So let's get into that Miami recap real quick. Before we go into this, Ian, you said did you not watch it? You didn't get a chance to watch?
Yeah, I don't know what I was doing Saturday. Friday, I think I was caught up kind of doing some finishing up stuff for this week of work. So I was, a little busy that evening. Saturday, I don't know what I did. I think I was like taking a nap or something. I don't know.
Wow.
Trying to watch the Olympics too.
Now we know
So,
how you, now we
yeah, I
know how
know.
much this program
I'm a
means
real
to you. I
fan.
thought you were a diehard, but okay.
I know. I'm sorry.
Um, yeah, honestly, Miami, uh, I have tickets like on the glass, so pretty, I get a pretty good look at the hits and everything. And holy crap, Miami, that was one of the hardest hitting teams UND has played in I don't even know how long, dude. There were some hits on the wall, like right in front of me or around me, that I was like, holy shit, these guys are gonna break the fucking glass. Like they were hitting hard. I haven't seen I could be missing one, but I haven't seen a team hit UND like that in a long time, dude. Miami's a hard team to play against, and obviously so UND only won 1-0 on Friday with a tip-in goal from Tyler Young. That was assisted by Strathman and Anthony Mangini. UND put 42 shots on goal to Miami's only 12. So Jan Spunar got a 12 save shutout. UND went 0 for 3 on the power play. Miami went 0 for 2 on the power play. UND did better in faceoffs. They won 35 to Miami's 25, and then Miami blocked a couple more shots than UND. Obviously, the big difference there is the shots on goal. North Dakota just throwing shots on Drobak, and he just was able to fend him off. And uh, the only one that beat him was the redirection in front, which are always really hard to save for goaltenders. So, yeah, I was really impressed with Miami on that Friday. And then on that Saturday, EJ Emery opened up the scoring with it seemed like, did you watch the highlights or anything?
I watched the Friday ones, but obviously that was not it's
You
not
don't watch the
extensive.
highlights even, bro? I go home and watch the highlights after the game.
I know,
I know,
man. I'm
not
sorry. I got
immediately,
a lot
but
going on right now with work and everything. I was just
I'm just
kind
surprised.
of I know, I know. Shame on me.
Um, no, it's okay. I get it. I'm just surprised that you didn't. EJ Emery, he's got two other goals in his career besides the one he scored. This is his third of his career in 2 years at UND. The other two are again in the same game against University of Minnesota. And if anyone remembers those goals, they were kind of like far side, kind of like hard angle shots, goals that typically don't go in. And then that was basically exactly what happened for the third time. So EJ Emery knows where how to shoot that puck from that angle, and obviously he got rewarded with the goal. The assist from that was from Sam Larilla and Dylan James. UND went into the second period up 1-0. Miami took a 2-1 lead just a couple minutes in, and then was able to make it a 3-1 lead with about 6.5 minutes to go in the second period. North Dakota had to go in the locker room. I heard that they got chewed apart for obvious reasons. Uh, didn't look all that great throughout most of that second period. Obviously, UND, we know to this point, is just a horse of a third period team. They outscore their opponents by just an absurd margin. I don't know the exact number right now, but Max Swanson got the Fighting Hawks rolling 29 seconds into the third period, make it 3-2 with an assist from Abram Weeb. Great pass from Abram Weeb on that play. And then Jake Livanovich power play goal with with a extra attacker tied the game up with about a minute and 51 seconds to go from Ellis Rickwood, right? And Keaton Verhoff. So both the tricky names that I got torn apart for weeks prior. Um, yeah, Ellis Rickwood and Keaton Verhoff. So and then Abram Weeb dangled through and or cut to the outside and then cut to the net and then scored a nice short side goal pass back to win the game in overtime. So UND gets 5 out of 6 points this weekend against Miami. Abram Weeb was awarded today, or yeah, today with the NCHC Defenseman of the Week award for the second straight week in a row. Good on him. Obviously, UND's had some silence across a couple of their offensive lines this weekend, as it looks like only two forwards scored all weekend, and the other three were from defensemen. So um, UND's gonna want to go into this weekend firing. Ian, do you have anything to add to that? I know you didn't watch, but I don't know
Yeah,
anything.
I just I mean, you look at the shot differential, and it's good to see us. I mean, even against a team like Miami, who you kind of figured would be a tough team to play against just because of the
Yeah.
physicality. I had been kind of saying all year that Miami was going to be one of the better teams in the NCHC, and they're kind of actively proving it. I think after the break, they've only lost, I don't know, 3 or 4 games, which is, pretty good. And especially for a team like Miami who's been terrible for a decade.
Hmm.
It's good to see them, playing good hockey. I mean, it's better when every team in the NCHC is good, and one of the good parts about this year is there really is no terrible team. I mean, even Omaha, I don't think would do that badly in any other conference.
Hmm.
I just looked up our stat in the third period. We have a plus 33 goal differential in the third period this year. So we have
That's
49 goals
insane.
for, including this past weekend, 16 allowed, which is unreal. And that's something you want. going into playoffs. And shout out to the Miami coach who said we are the best team in the nation. I think he said something along the lines in there is like, I know Michigan fans will give me slack and Michigan State fans will give me slack for that, but it's good to see us recognized as a team who's just kind of a monster out there on the ice, super deep. I mean, even in playing
Hmm.
not very good periods, we still put up 40 shots on goal both
Yeah.
nights. That's impressive, whoever you're playing against. So
Yep.
it's good. It's a crucial weekend to get points. Miami is one of those ball buster teams that's been kind of taking points away from the other top guys. So to
Hmm.
win with 5 out of the 6 and head into the home stretch here is really big.
Right. Yeah. So, like you said, Miami definitely. I said it before, yeah, really hard hitting team, hard to play against. That's what, you know, a lot of teams can drive success from is just being hard to play against. That's what one thing Dane Jackson wanted to do going into the season for our team. Miami's done a good job of doing that. I think that's one of the big keys to success and turning over a big team because us and Miami are similar in that way where we both didn't have a very great year last year and we wanted to improve, and both teams have greatly improved from last year. Uh, they just they're just hard to play against. That's one of the great ways to just become a good hockey team is just be hard to play against and battle and hit guys and be hard on pucks, forecheck and uh, Miami is they know how to do it.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with how Miami did. I mean we go in and do this weekend thinking it was going to be a hard one and talk about UND facing desperate teams, but Miami's a great team.
Yeah.
I'm
Just for
nervous about them in the
perspective,
future.
for any of the people who don't know, Miami went 3-28 last year. I think they
Hmm.
won like, I don't know, their first 2 games in a row or something and lost like 20 something after straight. This year's Miami team is 17-11. I think they're fifth place in the NCHC and they're close. I mean, they're close up right behind Duluth. I mean, they could potentially get, well, let's see. So they're sixth place, but they're 3 points behind St. Cloud and Duluth. Duluth has played the same games as Miami. St. Cloud has played 2 more games. This could be a Miami team that gets home ice for the NCHC playoffs.
Hmm.
That is something that nobody would have thought possible. And shout out to their coach. I think it's his, what, second year, first or second year.
Second
Um,
year, I
and
believe.
to have a 15 win turnaround in your second season is unbelievable. So shout out to those guys. I mean, they're doing a heck of a job this year.
Yeah, phenomenal. Yeah, with that being said, we'll go into the preview of North Dakota versus St. Cloud State. So North Dakota still sits at number 3 after this weekend. They're 23-7, 15-5 in conference play, and they will host the 22 in the NPI St. Cloud State, who is at 500, 16-16, and in conference play they are 9-13. North Dakota heading into the weekend. Here's your updated stats brought to you by Ian Iverson. Thank you, Ian, for this. North Dakota sits at fourth in the country with 3.8 goals per game at 2.1 goals against, which is good for fifth in the country. 27.9% on the power play, which it ranks sixth. 81.4% on the penalty kill, which is 26th. They have 333 block shots, 46th in the nation. That's a new one. I didn't even put that one in there before.
Yeah, I threw that in there. I mean, we talked about UND being a gritty team, and this is kind of the only stat department I see right now that we could really improve on.
Hmm.
And part of that is just because our back check is so good and our defense is so solid that we don't have to block a lot of shots, but
Hmm.
that is definitely something I want to see improve.
Right.
46 in the nation. Ideally, if we can get kind of up into that top half before playoffs, that would be good.
Right. And then they're 54.2% on face-offs, which is good for sixth in the country. On to St. Cloud State. 3.1 goals for, which is good for 22nd in the country. 22th. Is that really
Oh, my bad.
22th
Sorry, I
on
was just
here? It's
humming through
20.
this.
No, it's okay. I just like that's hilarious to me. 3.1 goals for, which is good for 22nd in the country, and they have 3.0 goals against per game, which is good for 34th in the country. St. Cloud State's power play sits at 25.4%, which is good for ninth in the country. The penalty kill, not very great, 76.1%, which is good for 49th. in the nation. They sit at 53.3% on faceoffs, which is good for ninth in the country, just behind UND. And one crazy stat that Ian was able to pull was they are 6 and 18 or 6 for 18.
6-4-18.
6 for 18 on shot attempts shorthanded, which is 33% conversion.
That's
They
crazy.
have they have six shorthanded goals
Yeah.
and on 18 shots.
And I know
You
for a
see when
fact
you
one of them was against us.
when you say that, yeah, when you said that earlier, I thought you meant they when they're on the penalty kill, they convert 33% of the time.
Oh no, they
33
on their shots
33%
when they're
of their
shorthanded, they
shots.
score 1 out of 3, which to me that's like that was crazy. I
That's
just
pretty
saw that on
good.
the little PDF stat sheet. And I'm like, that's crazy.
It's interesting.
So
UN some stats about UND's players. They have 8 players with 20 plus points, 13 with 10 plus points. The top three scorers are all seniors, and 4 out of 5 top scorers are upperclassmen. So the upperclassmen are really starting to emerge as the top point scorers. The Penrose Cup race, North Dakota, we talked about it last week and the week before. The path to the Penrose, which is North Dakota currently sits at 47 points. Let me pull up my little in-depth thing here quick. Sit at 47 points with 20 games played. Denver is right behind them, behind 1 point with 46, but they have two more games at hand than UND. Western has the same amount of games played as North Dakota, and they are 6 points behind. Uh, we're only going to mention those three because everyone else is out of the race for the Penrose Cup. I believe to clinch the Penrose Cup this weekend, North Dakota has to full out sweep St. Cloud in regulation both nights. I talked to Brad Schlossman about it because I had assumed that if they did sweep this weekend, both like win both games, they would. UND doesn't. If they sweep, Uh, they don't win sole possession of the Penrose Cup. They if it, pending if Western sweeps. If Western were to also sweep this weekend and UND were to also sweep, North Dakota would get a share of it at least, because then they would still be 6 points ahead. And then obviously that possibility going into that last weekend against Western, Western could sweep UND and finish tied with them at the end of the season, which would mean that they would share it. So pending UND getting a sweep this weekend and Western getting a loss, then they would win it out straight right. They would win it straight out, and UND would be the Penrose Cup champs, and they would hoist it at home. Uh, North Dakota or UND. Yeah, I think that they would present it. That's what I talked to Brad about. Was I was confused on
they
if they
would.
would present it or not, because Brad also said that if they didn't present it, they could present it. They could UND could elect to have it presented to them the first quarterfinal weekend of the NCAC tournament, which I thought was odd, but they could do it if they wanted to. So I'd assume with a sweep this weekend, UND gets to hoist it at home, which would be cool. Obviously, you
On
want to have
senior
it at
night.
home. It'd be more fun. Yep, on senior night. Uh, Western, for those wondering, goes to face Colorado College, I believe. Yep. So maybe they get hot goal lead and lose a point, go to overtime. And then, UND would get sole possession. North Dakota hasn't won a Penrose Cup since 2023-24. So that is the look at the Penrose Cup race. Just want to make sure we covered everything there. Denver is not out of the race. A lot of things have to happen for them to win it, but they're still, I guess, in there. It really depends on what happens to UND and Western this weekend. But uh,
Yeah,
North Dakota's in the
realistically,
driver's seat.
realistically, it's just North Dakota and Western at this point. I mean, with 2 games left, which is Arizona State at home, which they could sweep, but Denver has not proven to really have a dominant weekend since November. So we'll see what
Right.
happens there. Um, to kind of go back to the scoring, this is something that we've lacked, and it's been really refreshing to see our seniors just pop off. I don't remember the last time we had that besides maybe Gaber and Johannes 2 years ago.
Johannes.
Yeah, Hunter Johannes. Well,
What were you saying? What were you saying about it though?
I mean, we saw with 22-23.
Oh, the
All of our seniors that
upperclassmen.
came back massively underperformed. Last year, almost all our seniors massively underperformed. I think Berg was the only guy who had decent numbers, but that was about it.
Because Bergie's
So
a
it's good to see.
legend.
I mean, the top three scorers being seniors is awesome, and that is Strinden, James, and Rickwood.
Hmm.
Um, and then I think it's who is it? I think it's not Zellers. Reshny is fourth, and Liver is fifth in scoring. So it's good to see that mix. And it was good to see Reshny come back uninjured from
Hmm.
Duluth. I went to the Duluth game on Saturday night, so I saw that happen. I was worried that his knee was gone.
You know what happened? I didn't see it on TV. What was the,
He
what
got,
did it look
I
like?
don't want to say slew-footed because he didn't get slew-footed, but he got kind of tripped up on the way to the boards and just ran into it really hard, hit his kneecap right on it, and then the guy obviously came sliding into him, so there's just a lot of pressure on that knee. So I think it was just some sort of a bad bruise, a contusion, long way from the heart. Um,
Hmm.
but he's all good. I mean, he's a tough guy. We saw that. I think in the World Juniors he had something similar where he got hurt, looked like it was pretty bad, and then the next game he's just right back like nothing happened. So those Western Canada guys can be pretty tough, as we've seen throughout our history. So it's always good to recruit those guys. But
Right.
I think the biggest thing this weekend, we're definitely in a better position than Western is. Playing St. Cloud at home versus playing Colorado College at CC. I hope we can use that to our advantage. Last home series of the year, not including playoffs, because we've already clinched that. So it's good chance for the crowd to get rowdy. St. Cloud's one of those series that can get pretty loud, depending on how St. Cloud is that year. So
Hmm.
ideally 6 points. We saw earlier in the year, getting 6 points against St. Cloud was tough. They were pretty good on home ice. So I imagine it'll be a little easier to get some on when they come here, but
Hmm.
it's tough, man. It's so tough to beat a team all 4 games. So not counting on a sweep, but a sweep would be very ideal.
Yeah, so St. Cloud State in their last, let's see, eight here, they went 1-1. Geez, 1-3, 3-3. They are um 4-4 in their last eight. So coming off of a loss and an overtime win at home against Colorado College. Yeah, going back to the last series UND faced with them, very, very close. I took a look at it earlier on the Friday night. The shots were identical, 23-23. The power play for North Dakota went 1 for 3, and St. Cloud State's went 0 for 2. The face-offs were nearly identical, and the shots were nearly identical. Uh, and then on the Saturday night, I think UND had way less shot. They had got outshot by 12 shots. Went 1 for 1 on the power play, and St. Cloud State went 1 for 6 on the power play. They also had way more face-off wins than UND on that Saturday, and UND had more block shots. So I think that was one of the better games UND's blocked a lot of shots in, and obviously UND was able to win. Um, One couple things UND really needs to work on if they want to beat this or clean sweep this St. Cloud State team. They need to stay disciplined. St. Cloud State has, I want to say, um, let me look again. I was just looking
They
at
have
it
a couple
here.
of solid guys. I mean, Tyson
They are
Gross here at Hall have
they're
been
ninth.
disgusting.
They're ninth on the power play, and you really got to stay out of the box against St. Cloud State. You got to stay disciplined. Something the UND has kind of struggled with a little bit in recent weeks. One of the more penalized teams in the conference. UND cannot give up power play opportunities. They need to stay disciplined. They need to stay out of the box, and they need to come out fast and hard. If they really want to win the Penrose Cup, they got to prove it. St. Cloud State's not going to back away. They got more to earn than North Dakota does in terms of where they're at in the standings, and they want home ice. They're not really in the driver's seat to get home ice. They want to steal it from them. Duluth and Miami are all in the race for the last. spot at home. Even CC could be thrown in that race too. So St. Cloud State, every point matters, and this is their last weekend of the year. This is their last opportunity to get that last home spot. Uh, they have two more games at hand than North Dakota. These are the last two of the regular season before they go into the quarterfinals. So St. Cloud State's going to come out rolling. Brett Larson's going to do a good job coaching them, and you know St. Cloud State's got a lot to lose here, especially if they get
Yeah.
swept.
Yeah.
And North
I
Dakota has
mean,
not swept, real quick, North Dakota has not swept St. Cloud State, clean swept them throughout the whole year. And well, they might have done it a couple years ago, but it doesn't happen very often, is the point. So,
yeah. I mean, looking towards the NCAA's too, you have Miami, who's at 21, who's actually kind of looking in pretty good shape to sneak in, depending on how their teams above them do. St. Cloud's right there
hmm
at 22. Um, so I mean, St. Cloud's in the position if they can grab 3 points, even win the series, I could put them up a couple spots. They're sitting around 17, 18. You make a little run in the NCHC playoffs, all of a sudden you're in 14, 15, you sneak in. So we'll see what happens there. I mean, it's hard at this point in the year for MPI to move too much, but a team like St. Cloud grabbing one or two wins at North Dakota, who's sitting at third, that bumps you up a few points. Then you make a run, make it to the NCAA championship game. You could sneak in. So I'm sure Miami and St. Cloud are both going to be very fired up about that. These are both teams that I don't think have made the playoffs in a couple of years. I know Miami for sure, but I think St. Cloud made it 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
they might have made
We'll
it
see.
even 2 years ago, maybe.
And we know
I don't
Larson
remember
cannot stand North Dakota, so they're going to be fired up coming into our building.
for sure. Yeah, some couple players to watch for St. Cloud State. Obviously, Tyson Gross, the leading point getter for St. Cloud State. He's got 39 points in 32 games for the Huskies. Austin Bernovic, another name most people know who watch. He's got 35 points in 32 games. And then Barrett Hall, another key player for St. Cloud State, the Apple Valley native, has 28 points in 32 games. I assume Patrick Spurzins is going to play, the Latvian goaltender who has a 9-10 this year, but in his last five games, he's got just about just under a 900 at geez, 8.966. So, yeah, UND's gonna need to keep the pressure on and just battle their way through this if they want to win it. They gotta take it a game at a time. Just lock in that Friday night. Don't worry about the Saturday. Just do what you gotta do to win the game. Stay out of the box, most importantly, and they need to do a better job on, uh, I don't know, capitalizing
Yeah,
on the
the
penalty
the
power
first
play.
period, the first period's going to be our crux one of these days. Um, I mean, both nights against Duluth, we took like four penalties in the first period and just got behind. And I don't know how they came out against Miami both nights, but I would assume it was pretty similar where they just came out kind of slow. I mean, once you get to the tournament, that'll kill you. I mean, we saw that, 2 years ago in the tournament, North Dakota and Michigan. Like we came out pretty hot, but we didn't get it done. And you're only up 1-0, 2-1 against these teams kind of at the end of the second. It's anybody's game. It doesn't matter how well you played before. It's anybody's game. And so it's going to be a statement weekend. Can North Dakota come out hot like they did against Denver, where you go up 2 or 3-0 in the first period and you're rolling and everybody on all four lines is moving well. So
hmm
this to me is a statement weekend, and it shows Western like we may win the Penrose this weekend, but we're still coming hot for you. So I'm excited. I think they can pull it off. I think it's going to be a tough one. Um, but I would say hopefully after the last two weekends, they've learned that like guys, we got to get it going early. So
Right. Yeah, they can't slouch around and can't have a second period. You can't. It's awesome to see how well UND responds in those third periods, but just don't get down like that. Just don't enable your team to get down like that. And there were a couple really good plays that Miami had, like their third goal. I don't know if you saw it, Ian, but Miami had just an absolute. He just ripped it, dude. It was an absolute ripper and a snipe on Spunar. From like the top of the dot, it was like not even close to the net. It was just an insane shot. And yeah, Miami, very talented team. St. Cloud State, they're ranked right around that, right with them. So UND is really going to need to take it to them this weekend if they want to have an opportunity to drink out of that silver bucket on Saturday night. So, um, yeah, should we do some score predictions here?
Let's do it.
Okay, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, this is better. Let's just do that. Friday, Saturday. Let's go D. Okay. I'm gonna go. Oof, shoes. Dude, I don't think we're gonna sleep. I honestly don't know if we're gonna sleep the whole thing. I really don't. I'm gonna do it anyway, just because I'm trying to manifest it. I'm gonna go. Uh, how many goals? They're allowing two. I'm gonna go 4-2, empty net,
I was gonna
and
say the
then
exact same thing.
say it.
Yeah, 4-2 with an empty netter, I think is fair on Friday. Saturday, um, if there's one thing I've noticed about Larson's teams, s-
They
if they
suck.
lose a close one, they tend to
Just kidding.
slack the next night. And I don't know if it's just Larson or it's just the team. But I've noticed that about St. Cloud. They fight hard in a game and lose close the first night. They tend not to do well. If they get stomped the first night, that's when they tend to play pretty well. Um, I don't know, man. I feel like UND is gonna come out really freaking hard Saturday night. Friday night, I don't know. Friday night could really go either way, but I feel like Saturday they're just gonna be gunning and moving well, and it's the last home game before playoffs, so might as well go out with a bang. So I'll say 5-1. I think whoever's in net has a pretty phenomenal game, and
Hmm.
we look really good.
I'm gonna go 5-3, empty net. I just think St. Cloud's gonna be too pissed off to only score one goal. And I think UND is just going to continue to battle. I know I said I don't think they're going to sweep, but I'm just going to I don't know.
It's
I'm just
manifested,
going to roll
baby.
with it. I want it to happen, so I'm just going to say it. Yeah. Yeah, that's
I want
pretty
Western
much.
Michigan to shut up because after they've won the championship, they don't shut up.
Well, you're just talking about that group chat we're in because they're
No,
annoying.
I see it on Facebook. I see it everywhere. They all are just like, we're going back to back. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, shut up. You won once in your entire 60
I
year
remember
history.
when I had my first beer. That's my
Yeah.
response to that.
Yeah.
I remember when I had my first beer.
So I really want to shut them up and like let's just clinch it, get on to Western and
Right.
yeah.
Um, Yeah, I forgot to mention earlier that I met Dave Hackstall on Friday after the game and then Saturday after the game too. I just ran into him. It was kind of funny. Random poll, but he's really cool, obviously, as you can imagine. He's not as serious as he used to be on the bench.
He was
He
in
does
there.
he does know how to smile, I will say.
He was in there Friday night, right? He was in the pregame.
Oh, I don't know. He was around. He was sitting in
He
regular seats
was.
Friday and
I,
Saturday. I don't know what
he
you're
gave a
talking about,
pregame speech. I
honestly.
want to say Friday night,
Oh, I
but
don't
I'm
know.
not sure.
I'm unfamiliar. If
Anyways,
that's true or not. Not saying you're right or wrong. I just don't know. Uh, Other news and extras. Oh, we didn't do the vent line this week. I kind of forgot. I realized on Saturday I was like, oh shit. Kind of forgot to do that. But we swept, so it doesn't really matter. Uh, Other news. This at the time when it was true was hilarious. Minnesota had the number one power play in the country and the worst penalty kill in the country at 63. And they are also on pace for one of the worst years in their program's history. I will say the only not true part about that stat now is that they are number three on the power play in the country. They're still the worst penalty kill though. So, yeah. Ian,
yeah,
like
it's
you're
crazy.
smiling quite big. You want to talk about it?
Matsko might as well be in those Epstein files, dude.
Jeez.
He is a terrorist to the state of Minnesota as much as Tim Walz is. So, um, I mean, you got to think there is no chance they keep him next year. I mean, I have seen just kind of, and I've heard rumblings about the donors pressuring him to step down, because they're going to pull their funds. So. His seat is screaming, boiling. You put the kettle on the stove top and it's humming, man. It's he's gone. He's out of there.
Yeah, hold on.
And they play, I think their last four games this year is Michigan and Michigan State.
You ready for this? Give your score prediction real quick.
Uh, 4-2 UND Friday win and win the Penrose on Saturday 5-1.
Atta boy.
Dang, son.
That's it, but
Art
yeah.
Slosh.
He can't hear you, but he said, all
I
right,
said the
Slosh.
exact same thing.
Yeah, he said the same thing, and I said pretty much the same. I said 4-2 on Friday as well.
Perfect.
I said 5-3 though on Saturday, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all don't have to play good, but it can be done. So
Yeah, you'll have to cut the small little piece. Well, right now, cut this little piece and then cut the little part where I said hold on to Ian because I told you to come in. Cool.
sounds good.
Thanks. Yeah, sorry. So that was Lincoln just got back. He just texted me asking me if you should hop on, and I said no, but he got the score prediction in, so easy does it. Easy does it. And it happened to be the same as Ian's. I That was unplanned. That was not planned. I don't think anyway, unless Lincoln went into the doc
No,
and looked at it.
wasn't
But
playing. Let's see what the Gophers' schedule is here.
oh boy,
They are just to continue laughing at them because it's hysterical to me. They're 10, 19, and 2. And let's see. Their away record is 3, 9, and 1. So that is abysmal.
that's pretty bad.
Um, let's see what they're. I mean, they couldn't even sweep Notre Dame this week, and Notre Dame is like a bottom five team in the nation.
Yeah, they're pretty terrible.
Let's see. Let's see what the Big Ten's doing for their conference. Okay, Michigan's up top, 4 points ahead of Michigan State with two more games played. Um,
Sorry, is this Gopher Puck live, Ian? I'm confused.
yeah, sorry. Anyways, yeah, they're second to last with 22 points. They're behind Ohio State, who's also pretty terrible. Um, yeah, Big Ten's poverty. They have the top two teams every year until they go like 0 for 5 in the playoffs. So
Yeah, did they? Oh, they have Michigan, Michigan State, and Penn State. Who else? Is anyone else really a competitor or a contender for anything?
Wisconsin was, and they fell off the face of the earth. So
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know what's going on with them.
they did fall off. That's right. They
So
fell off
yeah,
hella,
the
bro.
Gophers so they have a bye week this week. They go out to Ann Arbor to play Michigan, and they play Michigan State at home for the last weekend of the year. So they're 0 for 4 in that. And 10 for 23, I think, puts them at the worst
That's
or the second
shocking,
worst
dude.
record they've had in the modern era of hockey, which is like, since 1970 or whatever.
Dude, Wisconsin had like an ECAC fall off, bro. They had the biggest fall off I think I've ever seen in my life, bro. They're just like they were like literally up there and like the top like for the in question for number one. And they're just not anywhere close to there anymore, dude. They're 15th. This isn't
Yeah.
not good for
Wow. They
them.
may fall out of the playoff race here. That's crazy.
They're I think they're gonna fall out of the playoff
So
race.
let's see, they lost.
Oh, they have two really good opponents, so if they can split both of those, they're maybe in. It's gonna be tough though, and then they have to win some in the conference, but
Since the
conference
break,
tournament,
they've
not
won one, two,
good.
three. They're five. Well, okay, if we don't count Alaska Anchorage, which we shouldn't, they are 0-2, 0-4, 0-6, 3-7 in their last 10. And their only wins coming from Notre Dame and Ohio State. And the Gophers not only like beat them both nights, but they dominated them both nights. It was like 4-1 and 8-4. So I don't know what happened with the Badgers. It's tough to see them drop because I was really gunning for them. I thought they were gonna be one of the Big Ten teams actually pulled off, but they fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah, and they've been one of those programs that just a perennial blue blood, and now they're just haven't been. They have a couple good years here and there, and since like I want to say 2014 or so, they've had a couple good years here and there, and then they've just been bad the rest. I mean, they had a couple
Yeah.
good years with Cole Caulfield, and Had Keandre Miller and Alex Turcotte, but not able to get a whole lot running after that. Um, I mean, they made the national championship in 2010. So, yeah, so interesting how that's all playing out. The Big Ten, the phonies are gonna reveal themselves at some point, whether it's now or when the tournament starts. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, UND trying to clinch the Penrose or at least a share of it this weekend. So gonna ask our brothers in the yellow, gold, and black down in Colorado Springs to help us out. So see if we get that
Yeah,
help.
hopefully Caden stands on his head like he did against us. Good grief.
Yeah. So, well, anything else, Ian?
That's about it, man.
Cool.
That's about it.
Well, if you're a returner, thank you for listening. We appreciate your loyalty and just taking the time to listen to us talk about some hockey. And if you are new here, thank you for listening, and we hope to see you back here next week. Enjoy the weekend.